What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and despite the crushing loss, I am going to make a quick video because I do want to say a couple things about this. Um, First and foremost, let's acknowledge the fact that this game was always going to be a tough game on the road against a good team. You know, they're known for being really physical, and at times the Dolphins definitely got overpowered and outmatched in that regard. So, and they made some good plays on offense. They made some good plays on defense, right? So first and foremost, credit to the Philadelphia Eagles for holding it down at home. And, as has been mentioned, this is not the end all be all. We still have a 1-game lead on the Bills in the division. We play the Patriots next week in Miami. And we are going to start getting some guys healthier. Unfortunately, Jalen Waddle came up with a little bit of a back injury, but hopefully he'll be all right there. Isaiah Wynn left this game, which definitely contributed to the situation. Connor Williams didn't play at all. They didn't have Xavier Howard play, and Isaiah Wynn came out at some point pretty early on. So we ended up having Lester Cotton at left tackle and Liam Eichenberg at center, and obviously we've already been down Taron Armstead and Kendall Lamb's been at left tackle. So the entire left side of the line to the center was backups, and Kendall Lamb's been damn good, but Lester Cotton, I know he's just been coming off of an injury. I don't know personally how good he is, but in this case, having to play against that front, not a good situation. I'm pretty sure he didn't perform all that well. I'm pretty sure Eichenberg won't have performed well, when the numbers come out, PFF scores, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, with pressures and so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so at the end of the day, number one thing is credit to the Eagles for playing a tough game. They're a good team. It was always going to be tough. It's not the end all be all. We are now 5-2 with a still 1-game lead in the division. But we now are behind 1 game of the Chiefs for the number 1 seed. And, you don't necessarily have to get the number 1 seed to make it to or, win the Super Bowl. I definitely still think that this team is going to win the division. And I still think that they very well could get the number 1 seed, especially if when we go to Germany, when we should have Jalen Ramsey back and maybe hopefully Howard as well, and maybe hopefully Connor Williams. Maybe they'll get healthy enough having taken this week off next week. And Isaiah Wynn too. Hopefully he'll be good to go. Because, Jalen Ramsey's definitely not playing next week. Who knows if Connor Williams or Xavier Howard will. But anyway, point is, if we can, win next week, 6-2, go across the pond, the ocean. But, go out there to Germany, to Europe, and play that game against the Chiefs. And if we can get a win there, then we would obviously have the head-to-head matchup and tiebreaker there. And like I said, we should at least have Ramsey back. Hopefully we'll be basically back up to full strength for that game, and hopefully we can come away with the win there. And then, be 7-2 going into our bye week. And then we'll be getting Armstead back. We'll be getting Achane back after the bye. They're projected to come back for the Raiders game, which is the first game out of the bye. So, the sky's not going to be falling or anything like that. My biggest thing, though, the biggest disappointment for me actually at the end of this game is how people are going to talk about the Dolphins now. Because there's going to be people out there that are going to shit all over the Dolphins and, say that, see, they can't beat a good team on the road. They can't beat, tough teams in general. They can't, do this. They can't do that. That offense, see the frauds, blah, blah, blah. They're going to say all kinds of things. And the fact of the matter is that, like I said, the first factor that I wanted to acknowledge was the good performance of the Eagles. The second factor that I've kind of been talking a little bit about, the second factor, these are not necessarily listed in order of weight, right? So how much each of these factors weighed on the overall result. But the next factor was definitely injuries. Obviously, like I said, having all those offensive linemen out, Waddle got kind of banged up, Howard not being in there, Ramsey not back yet, David Long Jr. and Javon Holland collided on one play and had to come out. Long ended up staying out of the game and was in the concussion protocol, or at least he wasn't officially declared in the concussion protocol, but they were evaluating him last time I heard from the commentary or on the broadcast that he was being evaluated in that sense. Holland did come back to the game, so he was okay. But anyway, injuries were definitely the next prominent factor. But make no mistake, the biggest factor in this game was unquestionably, without a doubt, 100% categorically the officiating. It was garbage. And like many games these days in the NFL, especially this year, it's been happening a lot, but for sure, I mean, this has been an ever-growing and ever, worsening issue for the past, at least 5 or so years. I mean, really, when the league started taking that turn and actually reformatting the rule book of the NFL in order to favor offense, because that's where the money's made. Money's made with offense and scoring and putting up touchdowns and blah, 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 right? So, and it gets people to buy jerseys and merchandise and come to games because it's explosive, it's fun, it's exciting, right? So, it starts there. But, these days, I mean, I don't even know exactly what you want to say. This, like, complacency, like lack of care, of concern. Look, I mean, to be fair to the refs, again, the rule book is so fucked and so convoluted and so difficult to fucking interpret, especially on bang plays, that they do have a tough job. So I'm not going to try and completely shit on them because I do want to be fair. But the fact of the matter is the officiating in the NFL is 100% deciding games. And to me, when I watch this, look, the team, I mean, there were moments, don't get me wrong, I think we had about 10, there was 10 penalties on the night. I think about 6 or 7 of those were just absolute garbage. Off the top of my head, there were like 2 defensive offsides, both on Christian Wilkins, that were legit. And then there was a false start on the Dolphins offense that was also legit. And then maybe you can find one more to make 4. But definitely 6 or 7 of those penalties on the Dolphins, both sides of the ball, offense and defense, were just trash. The most notable one was when, I think it was a 3rd down play that the Eagles had when they were on offense, where Christian Wilkins barely shoves Jalen Hurts. And yeah, he falls to the ground. But, last time I checked, it's football. And it's a goddamn physical sport. And that's one of the biggest examples of how the rule book is fucked. Because, look, we absolutely need to make it safer. But a lot of the ways, like hitting quarterbacks low, hitting them directly in the fucking face, helmet to helmet, those things, yeah. But the one rule that absolutely fucking blows my mind and is a perfect example of how they are intentionally trying to favor offenses is the rule of landing on a quarterback with your entire weight. I think that rule in and of itself is absolute fucking garbage. Because last time I checked, it's fucking football and it's a physical fucking sport. Occasionally, when you tackle somebody, you're gonna fucking land on them. And sorry, but sometimes quarterbacks, when they get tackled by, I don't know, defensive linemen, defensive ends, they're like 200-pound guys. Sometimes 300-pound guys. It is what it is, bro. It's a fucking physical sport. Now, I agree that they should have taken out a lot of the headhunting kind of stuff from the defense, but defenses are so insanely handicapped these days, it's fucking ridiculous. I know that the scoring is apparently down, in the league right now, and that's kind of an oxymoron to what I'm saying. But it doesn't change the fact that the rule book is in and of itself, at this point in time, created to favor offenses. And on that penalty where Christian Wilkins just barely shoves him, and you could see, and they even said in the commentary, he let up. You know, it looked to me like Christian Wilkins did a little push off of him because maybe in his head, in that split-second moment, he's thinking, I'm going full bore at this dude. I don't want to just completely fucking drill him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a little shove and then quickly pull up, which is exactly what he did. You can watch it on the tape. And that way I can show the refs, hey, listen, I'm trying to pull up, but there's not anything I can do about my forward momentum that I already have any more than that. It's ridiculous. Anyway, and I also go back to, I can't remember who it was at this point, but when the rule first got instated that first year, there was a defensive lineman from the Dolphins that tried to adjust his body when tackling a quarterback that he ended up tearing an ACL. Because he tried to contort himself in a way that, you know, wasn't right. And it wasn't natural. So it's like, they don't care about defensive linemen tearing ACLs or any of the ramifications from that, just so they can make sure to get 15-yard penalties every time a quarterback gets fucking, you know, brushed up against. It's absolutely fucking absurd. And then, conversely, there were a number of penalties that should have been called against the Eagles that weren't. They had 0 penalties, but there were plenty of them on the field. A couple notable ones. There was I'm not going to remember the exact down and distance and stuff like that, but they did a replay of it during the broadcast. I think, I don't know, I saw it on Twitter. That's what it was. I retweeted, I could probably pull it up. As I'm looking for that, I'll keep talking, but there was one, I retweeted it. It was a clip of one of the Eagles offensive linemen hooking around the neck one of the Dolphins defensive linemen, and in a lot of cases that's called as a hold. It was pretty obvious too, and it wasn't called. There was another one. Oh, here, and let me go ahead and let's see. There we go. This is the penalty. Look, this is the supposed roughing the passer penalty. Look, and he lets up. He pulls his hands up. He hits the gas pedal. You can see he's like, okay, I'm not gonna fucking drill him. I'm not gonna throw him down. Like, come on, bro. Like, for reals, it's garbage. Anyway, hold on. I don't know if let me see if I can find it real quick. But the one I was telling you about, and there was another one. I don't know if I got to retweet a video of it, but there was another one where there should have been a pass interference on a deep shot that Tua took downfield. Want to say it was to Cedric Wilson later in the game, and there was a clear. First of all, you could have called a hold or maybe a pass interference, either or. But either way, at the the reason why you could have called a hold or a pass interference was because the defender grabbed Cedric Wilson's fucking face mask. And they're just like, oh, we didn't see it. We didn't see it. What are you going to do? We didn't see it. I'm sorry. What do you want us to do, guys? We just didn't see it. I mean, it's fucking absurd. So, it's okay. It is okay. I'm not worried about it. Because like I said, next week we have the Patriots in Miami. You know, look, and they put on a hell of a performance against the Bills today. And, you know, we were fucking super stoked and excited because they gave the Bills a loss. And that definitely afforded us the opportunity to lose this game and still be a game ahead of the Bills in the division. But if it wasn't for all the aforementioned stuff, mostly the penalties and the bad officiating, this game could have gone different. We could have gotten the win, especially with as hard as the team played despite the injuries, despite the bullshit calls, etc., etc. And we could be 6-1 right now. And we could have a 3-game lead on the Bills in the division and also keeping pace with the Kansas City Chiefs for the number 1 seed. Now we're 1 game behind. So, you know, it is super frustrating, but at the same time, it is not the end of the world. We were afforded. Point is, the Patriots, they did some crazy shit. It was crazy. You know, shocked the world, upset, all that. It was great for us, and it definitely does help us going down the stretch. But, you know, they were in Foxborough. To be fair, the Bills are, you know, especially on defense, dealing with injuries, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Although, you know, you got to question what's going on with that Bills team, right? Right? To be fair, I mean, the media is not going to talk about the officiating at all in this game. They're not going to, there's no way there's going to be major storylines from the major networks being like, you know what, the NFL, the officiating. I mean, some people might mention, you know, it here in passing, but there's not going to be like whole segments where the analysts dive in and be like, the NFL officiating is fucked, and it is literally deciding a lot of games. Anyway, again, bringing it back down, it's not the end of the world. Patriots, we are at home. It's not going to be in Foxborough. We already beat them in Foxborough. We should be able to sweep, you know, get the season sweep on the Patriots. We'll rebound. You know, we'll be okay. I think we're going to be fine. I think the offense is going to get back to it. You know, we do got to see what's up with some of the injuries from this game, but it looks like David Long Jr. is one of the more concerning injuries, but still not, it doesn't seem like it's very severe. Like I said, the last thing we knew is that he was being evaluated for a concussion, but he wasn't officially placed in the protocol yet. They were just doing second, like, evaluation, and he never, you know, had time to come back into the game. But we will have to keep an eye on that. Either way, he shouldn't be out for too long, I wouldn't think, because even if he does go into the concussion protocol, usually, more often than not, guys are back in a week or two. So, you know, maybe they end up not, you know, maybe he could play against the Patriots and they choose not to. I don't know. We'll see. I think we can handle the Patriots even being a bit banged up and down a couple guys. Isaiah Wynn is definitely going to be another big one to keep an eye on. I want to say it was a leg injury for him. I don't recall exactly offhand, but that is going to be interesting to keep an eye on, because then we're going to have to play, you know, although to be fair, the Patriots don't have Judon or Christian Gonzalez anymore, so I think we should be fine either way. Not to, you know, overlook them, but I think we'll be fine either way at home. And then we will start to get guys back, I think, particularly Jalen Ramsey for the Chiefs game, then the bye week. Then we play the Raiders, who aren't a very good team. We should get Armstead and Achane back. We should be rounding into a part of the schedule, particularly with the bye and stuff, where, unlike most teams and unlike the norm, we will, generally speaking, be getting healthier and getting, you know, a lot of key players back. So that is definitely, you know, something to be encouraged about. And again, the sky is not falling. Everything is fine at 5-2. It's disappointing and it's frustrating, but it is what it is. So, that's it. I don't really want to take any more. I said my piece on it. Just, I guess, to recap again, first and foremost, credit to the Eagles for playing a tough game. It was always going to be a tough game in their house. Two, you know, we were out some key guys, and this is part of why I personally would have played Connor Williams and Xavier Howard. I gave you guys in one of my last couple of videos my little rough thing and how I would have done it. I basically would have played them against the harder teams and sat them against the easier teams, just to kind of put it in a nutshell, but it was, you know, a little more nuanced than that. So check one of my previous videos. I think it was the one 2 videos ago. Yeah, it was the video before. Yeah, it was the video 2. Anyway, go check that out if you want to know the full version of what I said there. But anyway, so we should be fine. It should be all good. It is what it is. Super frustrating, and it will be annoying. You know, I'll probably start watching a little bit in the first part of the week. But if the national coverage and if all these outlets just start trashing on the Dolphins and saying that we suck and we're frauds and shit, when the real context of it is that, you know, despite them being a good team in their house, despite the injuries that we had and the key players we were down, and really, frankly, despite the terrible officiating, this team really played their fucking hearts out. And it was, at the end of the day, the officiating that decided this game without question. So, if it, I'm not, my point is if it, the first couple days of the week ends up being just trashing the Dolphins, then I'm just going to stop watching the shows for the rest of the week at least until we play the Patriots. Just because, like, my life is a challenge as is, but I want to try and minimize the amount of negativity, especially when it's not due. And look, we definitely made some mistakes. Again, like I said, 3 or 4 of those penalties were on us. Tua threw an interception, right? Like, there were some mistakes on us, but overall, it was the officiating that decided it. So I'm not going to be hard on these guys. It is what it is, and I still think we're going to win the division. I still think we're going to... I still think we have a damn good chance to take the number 1 seed and make it to the Super Bowl, et cetera, et cetera. So on that, I'm going to get out of here. Chins up, like I said, do the same thing that, I'm going to do. If you have an innate curiosity to see what people are saying after this game, check it out in the first day or two. And if it's negative and if it causes you anguish, don't give a fuck what anybody else says or has to feel about it or whatever, because that doesn't matter. The only thing matters is what you feel. So, if it bothers you, then just stop watching it, get through the week. And, we have another game on Sunday against, I think it's Sunday. I'm not sure if we have any Thursday or Monday night games off the top of my head. I think we have one. I think we have a Thursday night. Anyway, whatever. But yeah, so keep your heads up. It's going to be fine, and we're still going to have good things happen. We're going to get stronger, this team. We're still going to finish strong. We're definitely going to be in the playoffs, like I said, as I believe AFC East champions. And I think we actually will, for the first time in 20 plus years, actually win a playoff game. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. Fins up, chins up, and let's just keep it pushing, baby.
7 seconds left. Tannehill will throw it. And this will end it after the shuttle. Miami runs around, circling, on the go. Gronkowski did not beat it. Touchdown. Can you dream? A miracle. Miraculous in Miami. Stills to Parker to Drake. And they held off the unimaginable what has taken place here in South Florida. The Dolphins have done it. They keep their season alive. 69 yards. Wow. Pure joy. Miami wins it.